What up, what up? As you can see, we have a big chop transformation today on my client. He came in the shop and said, yo, Sean, he said, man, it's time, bro. It's time for you to take it all off. I'm like, what you want to do, bro? Like, how you want to cut it? He's like, you can do whatever you want. So I decided to give him a high fade. I thought he was playing, but he was serious, man. So that's what I decided to give him. And I just started off combing out the hair in the direction that it grows, looking for calyx, and he do has a couple calyx right in the front. So I slapped on the foreguard, and this is just me just knocking down all the bolt. I don't know if it's just me, but I just get satisfaction just doing a big chop, watching all the clients' hair just fall off their head. I just love cutting a lot of hair off and just going down to a buzz cut. I don't know why. I just love doing it. It's just so satisfying. But my client do have some crazy calyx right on the front of his head. I'm going to show you whenever I get up there. So we decided to knock it down a little bit lower so everything can start growing in right. So you see on the top of his head, I'm cutting the hair sideways. That's the way the hair wants to grow. And now you can get a better look at what I was talking about. You see that calyx? I don't think that's naturally supposed to be there. What I think is from him just growing his hair out, and he wear a lot of hats, he told me. So I think it's just from him wearing a lot of hats and his hair just growing out wild and him just laying his hat right down on his hair. So that's why you always want to start with a bigger guard when you are doing these big chops like this, because it gives you less room for error. So I put on a 2 guard, and this is the lowest that I'm going to take him. No, he's not bald at the top. That's just the angle that my camera is showing. He have hair up there. Next, we're going to jump right into the back taper. I'm setting in my first guideline with my sabers. Then I'm going to go clipper open, and I'm going up about a 1/2 inch. And I'm keeping this line very consistent, and I'm brushing as I'm cutting. Then I'm going to close the lever, and I'm going to start to tap at that line. Once I see the line start to shift up for me, I'm going to open up my lever 1 notch, and I'm going to do the same exact thing, tap at the line. Once I see a shift, I'm going to be halfway on my next notch, and I should be at the top of that guideline, and the line should be faded out for me. If the line is not faded out, then I would just go back and repeat my same exact steps, and your line should come out. Then I throw on my 1 guard, and I start close, and I'm going up again about a 1/2 inch. And I'm going over this guideline multiple times as well. You can see the hair is growing sideways, so I had to go sideways just to get the hair down to its desired length. Then I throw on my wall guard, and I start halfway on my lever, and I start to just feather out this line. Once I see it starting to lighten up, I will close my lever up 1 notch, and I'm going to go a little bit lower than I just was halfway. Then I'm going to close the lever up all the way, and now I want to be at the very bottom of that guideline. I'm going to the line, and I am flicking out, and you can see my transition is there. Then I throw on my 1.5 guard, and I start open, and I'm starting to soften up that line. I know this 1.5 guard is not going to take that line out. It's just going to soften it up for me. And his occipital bone is sitting a little bit lower right in the back of his neck area. So it's going to be a little tougher for me to fade that area, and it's going to be a little darker. So I'm going to try to keep the taper right underneath his occipital bone. Then I come back with the 1 guard, and I start halfway, and I'm just going to go to the line and flick out just to bring my transition together. If it don't come out halfway in the lever, then I will close my lever up all the way, continue using the corners, and starting to take that line out. You can see this hair is growing sideways. I feel like all my clients' hair just grows sideways. I feel like I don't have a client and their hair grows normal. It's crazy. But I am close, and you see me using my corners, just trying to just soften up that line. Then I come back with my Babeless 0.5 guard, and this is the guard that I'm going to use to take that line all the way out and bring my transition all the way together. And my taper is starting to look like a taper. Just take out the last of this line and this back taper will be done. And you see how low I kept it. I'm not trying to take it any higher than that. And it's going to pop once I put that neckline on there. Then we're going to jump right into the side taper. It's a high taper, so I want to start at the very bottom of his vertical bar. Then I come back with my foil shaver to bar him out. Then I come clipper open, and I'm going up about 1 inch to 1/2 inch, going over the guideline multiple times. Then I will close the lever, and I'm going to start to flick at the line. Once I see the line shift up, I will open my lever up 1 notch, repeat the same steps. Once I see that line shift, I will be halfway in my lever, and I need to be at the very top of the guideline. If that line does not come out, I will go back and repeat the same exact steps. Then I threw on my 1 guard close, going up about 1 inch to 1/2 inch as well, going over the guideline multiple times to make sure I got it down to its desired length. Then I throw on the 1/2 guard, and I am halfway on my lever, and I'm going to start to feather out that line. Once I see it start to lighten up for me, I'm going to close my lever up 1 notch, and I want to go a little bit lower than I just was halfway. Then I'm going to close the clipper up all the way, use the corner of the blade, and go to the line and flick that line out. Then I throw on my 1.5 guard, and I start open just to start my net transition to lighten up that line. Once it lights up, then I'm going to go close and go a little bit lower than I just was all the way open. My system is pretty much dummy proof, man. Like I said before, if you treat your system right, your system gonna treat you right. Next, I jump right down to the 1 guard, and I start open, and you starting to see me use the corner of the blade. And you can see my taper is pretty much coming to life. You know, I'm going to go open, and then I'm going to go halfway like I just did. And then I'm going to go all the way close. And you can see my taper is pretty much there. You know, I went through my system. The rest of the taper is just going to be detail work and clearing out them dark spots. Then I threw on the Babeless 0.5 guard, and I just started close. You know, I really didn't need to put this guard on, but I just put it on anyways, just to really make sure I got this blend the way I want it to look. And it's pretty blurry, man. A high taper. And you can see I didn't take it really high. I could have took that taper up super high, but I just kept it right in a good spot. Then I'm going right to the neckline to line him up, going right behind the ear, and I'm keeping this line super natural, really not trying to push my client back. And once you put this line on, that taper just pop. Then I'm going to line up his vertical bar area. These Cocos, man, go grab you a pair. They hitters. And look at that taper. A little bit of detail work, and we Gucci. And on this side, I just want to talk about how us barbers, we have to have short-term memory. So a guy that cut right next to me in the shop, he did a really bad haircut. Well, he basically took on a haircut that he had no business cutting because he didn't know what he was doing. And he started freaking out mid haircut. And he ended up coming up to me saying, "Yo, Sean, can you please come over here and help me, or can you finish this haircut? I will pay you for it. I just don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I took this haircut. I'm freaking out because this guy keep like looking at my work and like I don't know what I'm doing." And I'm like, bro, just calm down, take a deep breath, and focus. You do know what you're doing. You just freaking yourself out because you're not being confident in yourself. So I was finishing up my client anyways. So I went over there and I ended up helping him with the haircut. I showed him what to do, but I did not take his clippers from him not one time. Because how are you getting better if I'm just taking your tools from you and I'm just doing a haircut? You're not getting better. You're just letting me do it. So even though I know he was struggling, I still told him to finish his haircut, because this is the only way you're going to get better at doing this haircut and not letting me do it for you. So he ended up finishing the cut, but I noticed he was all down. He wasn't in a good mood anymore. He wasn't happy. He went outside. I seen him pacing back and forth, and he let that one haircut destroy his whole day. So I go up to him and I'm goes, bro, you have to have short-term memory. I'm like, people make mistakes in a barbershop all the time. That guy is still probably going to book another haircut with you again. Don't let that haircut affect your day or your next client. Because if you still moping around and you're not in good spirits because you just did a bad haircut, it's not fair to your next client, because you're not giving their haircut 100%, and your customer service might be off because you're still thinking about that last haircut. So I told him, forget about it. Whenever you cut his hair again, you're going to ace it. Move on to the next cut and lock in. And that's why I think it's so important for us barbers to have short-term memory. We can't let one bad haircut affect our whole day. We have to move on and make our next haircut better than our last one. After our day was over, he came up to me and said, yo, Sean, thank you for that talk. I really needed that. All right, back to the haircut. Now that the line is finished, I go back to my taper, and now I'm just going to start to just detail out the taper. I threw back on the one guard, and I'm just going over them dark spots, trying to lighten up the taper, trying to bring my blend all the way together and try to get them blurry as possible. Then I go no guard open, and I'm doing some point cutting, hitting all my little hot spots that I see, trying to give them that make blurry taper. And I go to the other side and I do the same exact thing. I slap on that one guard. I believe I'm open, and I'm just trying to just lighten it up by hitting them dark spots that I see at the top, trying to get this taper a little bit more pop. And it's definitely blurry. You see me using my corners. Like, when you are detailing, always use that corner of that blade. That thing blurry. Got my boy back in the game, man. This is a transformation. He don't even look like the same dude. Like, this is a whole different dude. This is crazy. It's crazy what a haircut can do, man. The power of a haircut. It's crazy. We really got the power to change somebody's appearance. And this is how my guy came in looking. He said, Sean, change my life, man. I need you bad. Do whatever you want. And bang, got my boy back in the game, man. A high blurry taper with the number 2 on top. Nice lineup. Everything nice and natural. Back taper blurry. This is that high mic blurry, man. But thank you guys for watching, man. Please leave a like, leave a comment. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's your boy More Fades. I'll see you guys on the next video, and I'm out ya.